रयत शिक्षण संस्था सातारा उत्तर विभाग जूनियर कॉलेज कला शाखा गुणवत्ता विकास कक्ष ग्रामसेवक तलाठी भरती परीक्षा मार्गदर्शन विषय इंग्रजी घटक सेंटेंस करेक्शन मी श्री पाराटे लक्ष्मण आरबीएनपी कॉलेज श्रावण. My dear friends, in our competitive exams, there are questions on sentence correction. The sentence consists some errors, and we have to find that error from the sentence and try to rectify that error. So, welcome to this presentation on mastering sentence correction. In this session, we will explore common grammatical errors and practical strategies to enhance your knowledge for competitive exams. Here we are about to discuss the common errors in the sentences on the following points, that is subject verb agreement error, pronoun error, tense consistency error, article error, parallelism error, adjective versus adverb error, and prepositional errors. These are the most common errors in these sentences, and we have to find out how these errors occurs in the sentences, how to identify these errors, and how to correct these errors from the given sentences. First of all, we are about to discuss the first error or the most common error in the sentences, that is subject verb agreement error. This happens when the subject and verb don't agree in number. My dear friends, subject verb agreement error occurs when the subject and verb don't agree in number. That is, a singular verb need singular subject need singular verb, and the plural subject need plural verb. When identifying this error, we have to pay attention towards the subject and try to find out that if our subject is singular or plural. If our subject is singular, we have to use singular verb, and when our subject is plural, we have to use plural verb. The example is given here: the dog and cat is sleeping. It is incorrect statement. Why? Because the dog and the cat, the subject is plural, so the verb should be plural verb. So the correct statement will be: the dog and the cat are sleeping. We have turned is into are because the subject is plural, and our rule says that if our subject is plural, verb should be plural verb. Then the second sentence: each of the students are studying. Here it is incorrect statement because here the subject is each of the students is singular. So our verb should be singular. So the correct statement will be: each of the student is studying. Then, apart from it, if our subjects are joined by and, we have to take plural verb. If our subjects are joined by and, we have to take plural verb. For example, the teacher and the students were present in the meeting. Here we have used plural verb where, because our subject, teacher and the students are adjoined by the coordinating conjunction, that is and. And whenever two subjects are joined by and, we have to use the plural verb. So we have used where in the given sentence. Then if the subjects are joined by or nor, verb agree with nearest subject. If our subjects are joined by or nor, at that time, we have to use the verb according to the nearest subject. That is, either Ramesh or his friend are going to the market. Here we have used are because our rule says that our verb agree with nearest subject, that is his friends. So his friends is plural. So we have used are here. Even though the subject is Ramesh. Here because these two subjects are joined by or. So here our rule says that if our subjects are joined by or not, verb agree with the nearest subject. So here we have studied that the subject or subject verb agreement error occurs when the subjects didn't agree in number. If our subject is singular, our verb should be singular one. If our verb is plural, if our subject is plural, our verb should be plural. Apart from it, if our subjects are joined by and, we have to use plural verb. If our subjects are joined by either or, if our subjects are joined by or not, we have to use the verb according to the nearest subject. After discussing the first error, we are turning towards the next one, that is pronoun error. Mind my friends, pronoun, it is a word we use when we have to give the recurrence of noun for the second time, and it should be used correctly. A pronoun must agree with the noun it is replacing in number and case. When we are using pronoun, it should be agree with the noun in number and case. Here I have stated the examples of number error in the sentences. Everyone should bring their own lunch. Here you will find that the pronoun there has been used there. It is used for the plural noun, that is they. But here everyone, it is singular. So the appropriate pronoun for it will be his or her. So the correct statement will be everyone should bring his or her own lunch. If our subject is no one, anybody, no one, at that time it is treated as the singular subject, and so singular pronoun should be used for them. Then example of case error in the sentences. Our rule says that subjective case is used for subject of the verb. When we have to use subjective case for the subject of the verb, that is subjective case means we have to use I, we, he, she or they. For example, my brother and me went to the store. Here, my brother and me, here there is error in the case, that is me. My brother and me are the subject of the verb went, and our rule says that if we have to use subjective case when we are using it as a subject of the verb. So the correct statement will be my brother and I went to the store. Then objective case is used for object of the verb or preposition. Here, that is, the prize was given to my sister and I. Here my sister and I are the object of the verb. They are used for the preposition to. So objective case should be used here for that I. So the correct statement will be the prize was given to my sister and me. Here I have also stated that sister and me are the objects of preposition to. So we have turned it into objective case, that is I into me. After here we have discussed the pronoun error, and we have seen that the pronoun must agree with noun. It's replacing in number and case. We have also seen the example of number error in the sentences, and also the example of case error in the sentences. As we have seen that we have to use subjective case for the subject of the verb and objective case for the object of the verb or preposition. After discussing it, we are turning towards the third error in the sentences, that is tense consistency error. We have to maintain logical and consistent flow of time, keeping the verbs in the same tense unless clear shift of time is indicated. My dear friends, we have to keep the verbs in the same tense unless clear shift in time is indicated. It means that if there are two clauses in the sentences, we have to maintain the same tense in both of the clauses. For example, here is given, she opened the door and heard a loud noise. You will find that in the first part, simple past has been used. In the second one, simple present has been used. It is incorrect statement. So we have to keep the same tense in both clauses. So the correct statement will be, she opened the door and heard a loud noise. Here we have kept past to past. Apart from it, our rule says that if two actions happen in the past, the action that happens earlier make past perfect, and the action that happens next, it takes simple past tense. Here, that type of error sentence is given here. He left before I had arrived. If you pay attention towards the both of the actions, the action that happened earlier, that is he left, and the action that happens later, that is he or I arrived. So appropriate use of tense in the given sentence will be the action that happens earlier take past perfect. So the tense will be, or the sentence will be, he had left before I arrived. So here we have discussed the tense consistency error in the sentences. To identify this error, we have to pay attention towards both the clauses, and we have to keep the verbs in the both clauses in a same tense. Apart from it, if we are describing past actions, the action that happens earlier, we have to use past perfect, and the action that happens later on, we have to use simple past tense for it. After it, we are turning towards article error. When this error occurs in the sentences, that is, an article error happens when articles are used incorrectly, omitted when needed, or included unnecessarily. If the articles are incorrectly used, omitted when they are needed, and included unnecessarily, that time this error occurs. In our English language, there are three articles, that is a, an, and the. Indefinite article we consider a and definite articles, that is the. When we have to use a article is used before countable singular noun, begins with consonant sound, and pronounced as consonant. For example, a book. Apart from it, there are some words which begins with vowel sound but pronounced as consonant. For example, a university, it begins with vowel sound but it pronounced as consonant. So we use a article before them. Then an article is used before countable singular noun, begins with vowel sound and pronounced as a vowel. For example, an apple. Just like that, there are some words where they begins with consonant but pronounced as vowel. Just like here, an hour, it begins with consonant sound but pronunciation, it is just like vowel sound. So we use an before hour. Then the article is used when referring a specific noun. विशिष्ट गोष्टींची त्या ठिकाणी रेफरन्स देत असताना or referring a specific noun, we have to use the article. The article is also used before unique things. The article is used before superlative forms of degree. The article is also used before the noun when it is mentioned for the second time. Here I have stated some example of article errors before you. Here a sun rises in the east. Here the sun is a unique thing in this world, or the only one thing, and before that thing we have to use the. but here a has been used here. So the correct statement will be the sun rises in the east. Then he is best player in the team. Here you will find that the article has been omitted. So the correct statement will be he is the best player in the team. Why we have used the instead of a and? Because here it is the superlative form of degree. So before superlative form of degree we have to use the. So here we have seen when the article error happen. If you memorize the rules when to use a, when to use and when to use the article, you can easily find out these errors in the sentences and you can easily correct those sentences. After it, we are coming towards the next error consists in the sentences, that is parallelism error. When this error occurs, that is when all the items in the list did not follow the same grammatical structure. When all the items in the list did not follow the same grammatical structure, that time this error occurs. So to avoid this error, we have to use all items in the list must follow the same grammatical structure. Means the list of things or the qualities or the adjective or the nouns that are given in the sentences, they should be in the same grammatical form or grammatical structure. For example, he likes reading, writing and to swim. It is incorrect one because reading, writing is in gerund form and to swim it is given in infinitive form. We have to keep the same grammatical structure in these items. So the correct statement will be he likes reading, writing and swimming. We have turned to swim into its gerund form, that is swimming. Then sometime adjective versus noun mix error also happen. In a parallelism error, we have to keep the same part of speech, all the nouns and all adjective. If the sentence consists noun, we have to keep them in all them in noun forms. If the adjectives are given, we have to keep all the adjectives in the same form. For example, the job requires honesty, hardworking, and you are punctual. Here, honesty and hardworking are adjective. So, while correcting the statement will be the job requires honesty, hardworking, and punctuality. Not you are punctual. It should not be given in noun form. It should be given in adjective form only. Because the earlier two are adjective and the latter one should be adjective. So parallelism error occurs when the sentences do not follow the same grammatical structure or the things do not follow the same grammatical structure. So to avoid this error, we have to use all items in list in the same grammatical structure. After it, we are turning towards the next error in the sentences, that is adjective versus adverb error. My dear friends, what is adjective? Adjective, it is a word that describes subject or noun. Adverb, it is a word that describes verb, other adverbs or adjective. When this error happens, adjective versus adverb error happens when you use an adjective when adverb is needed, or vice versa, means when you use adverb when adjective is needed. My dear friends, sometimes in our sentences we misuse. When adjective is needed, we use adverb. When adverb is needed, we use adjective. And in such sentences, this error occurs. So, to avoid this error, we have to appropriately or we have to use appropriately adjective where it is necessary and adverb where it is necessary. If the word describes subject, use adjective. The simple formula for it is that if the word describes the subject, use adjective. If it describes verb or other adjective, then use an adverb. Here, I have stated the example. She performed beautiful on the stage. Here, beautiful it is adjective form, but here it is used for verb or to describe verb. So it should be in adverb form. We have to suffix ly to it. So the correct statement will be she performed beautifully on the stage. Then the second one is the soup smells deliciously. Here my department smell, looks, seems. These are linking verbs. They are not describing the action. And after these linking verbs, we have to use adjective, not adverb forms. So the correct statement will be the soup smells delicious, not deliciously. My departments, after linking verbs like looks, taste, smell, we have to use adjective. So we have turned deliciously into delicious. Here we have seen that in adjective adverb error, appropriate use of adjective and adverb should be done in order to avoid this error. Then after it, we are coming towards the last error in the sentence, that is prepositional error. When this error happens, when we misuse prepositions, then we avoid prepositions, or sometimes we use them unnecessarily. Preposition shows the relationship between noun and another word. Using wrong one can entirely change the meaning. My department's prepositions denotes or shows the relationship between noun and another word, and it should be used correctly. Here I have stated some common confusions about preposition. After agree, we have to use which prepositions? Just like agree with person, agree to proposal, agree on topic. We can say agree on proposal or agree with proposal. We have to strictly use these combinations, that is agree with person, agree to proposal, agree on topic. For example, I agree to you about the plan. The sentence is incorrect because we have to use proper combination, that is agree with person. Here you is person, so we have to use with, not two preposition there. I agree with you about the plan. Then the second, by using different, in a positive term we have to say positive. In positive term we have to say different from, and in negative sense we have to use not different than. Here this book is different than that book. Here different is used in a positive sense. So after different we have to use the preposition from, not than. So the correct statement will be this book is different from that book. Then by using between to denote comparison, or to denote comparison, when we are comparing between two things, we have to use between. We are comparing between more than two things, we have to use among. Here the money was divided between three children. Here we have, or here the sentence is incorrect because the between is used incorrectly here. The comparison is given between three children. So we have to use among here. The money was divided among three children. It will be the correct statement of it. So in order to avoid prepositional error, preposition shows the relationship between noun and another word. Using wrong one can entirely change the meaning. My departments, the preposition shows relationship between noun and another word. But sometimes in the sentences the prepositions are wrongly used, sometimes unnecessarily used in the sentences, and whenever such things happen, this error occurs. Here I have stated some common confusions regarding prepositions. When we are using agree, after agree we have to use, or we have to say that agree with person, agree to proposal, agree on topic, we can't say agree to person. We have to use with, between agree and person. For example, I agree to you about the plan. Here, I will say that there is error in the sentence because to is wrongly used here. The correct statement will be I agree with you about the plan. Because in between agree and person we have to use preposition with, not to. Then the second thing is that is different. While using different, after different when we are using different in a positive term we have to say different from, and in negative term we have to say not different than. This book is different than that book. Here we are using different in a positive sense. So after different we have to use from. So the correct statement will be this book is different from that book. Then we have to use between for comparison between two things, and among for more than two. The money was divided between the three children. Here the comparison is between more than two. So instead of between we have to use among. The money was divided among the three children will be the correct statement of it. So here in this way we have learned the common errors in the sentences. We have to try to find out these errors, and you have to master to find these errors and to correct the sentences accordingly. Mastering sentence correction is an ongoing journey. It cannot be achieved in one day. By understanding and applying these fundamental rules, you can significantly improve your writing clarity and impact. Thank you very much.